This is Jane. I'm the host of Political Gravity on Blog Talk Radio. This is part 3 of our episode on the European Black Plague of 1347 versus the worldwide COVID-19 virus. I hope you enjoy part 3.
Pig Ebola has already wiped out millions upon millions of pigs in China, and it has now spread to the
I wouldn't say millions, because they contained it right away.
No, I'm talking about pigs. Millions of, upon millions of pigs died in China.
Oh, they said people.
No, pigs. Sorry, because sometimes
well, the coronavirus came from an animal.
Some people say that. Some people say, it was somehow escaped from the lab, or there are so many other theories available. But very well, nature may take itself too. And number 8 is H1N1 swine flu, which, unlike the African swine fever, the H1N1 swine flu can actually kill humans. In fact, it has already killed more people outside China.
John mentioned that earlier in the show.
Okay. And number 9 is H5N1 bird flu. That the strain of bird flu caused a massive global scare a number of years ago. And now it's experiencing a stunning recoming back. China has had to kill thousands of chickens so far. And number 10 is H5N8 bird flu. This strain is different, H5N1 bird flu, but many believe that's even more frightening. It has started to pop up numerous places around the globe, and experts were really surprised when recently made an appearance back again. So go ahead, you have the floor.
John, on your way, you're free to speak.
Well, the main thing, one of the things that John, that I mentioned earlier last week, and John reiterated today, is the virus actually has a peak point of temperature of 47 degrees. And that's one of the reasons why you don't hear of an outbreak in South America and Africa. There really is no major outbreak that's going on right now. But the virus doesn't like hot or real cold weather, and so that's something that we have to take a look at and make sure that we don't get overwhelmed with concerns if we're living in hot or cold regions.
Yes, indeed. And there's something I found out in the news in the United States. Actually, Cheyenne, Wyoming, was saying that in their news they are monitoring the water quality and also water quality for coronavirus because it can be airborne. They said if we find the traces of any coronavirus in the water, we will shut up all the water in Cheyenne, Wyoming, all the state of Wyoming. That's another thing, and so it can happen worldwide even. And if they find it in the water, and so you cannot shower, you cannot, a lot of things will be messed up again. Because this is airborne. This can go from one country to another country by, wind, by massive winds, massive air. This
can massive air for 3 hours.
Yes, exactly. And the water in worldwide, what is wide open, It goes through the process and then it goes to your home. Go ahead, please.
Anybody can go. We're going to be ending the show in 15 minutes, you guys. I'm at work.
Well, I could ask Mike a couple questions. What's the average age of people dying of this?
As I said, it doesn't discriminate, but it seems, children are a little bit more immune to it, or they get less problems with it.
Well,
am I right or wrong?
No one under 9 has died from it. The average age is 77.7 years. And as far as now, here's the question: what are we going to do? I mean, people can be fearful, but I work at a store where people buy groceries. I see hundreds of people every day. They have to hand me money. They have to handle product. People open doors. They touch counters. They touch shelves. Things have to be restocked. I encounter billions of germs every day. Now the question is, do I stop working for the next 6 months and starve to death while I'm waiting for this to pass?
The question right now, I think in North America, they open unemployment for thousands, especially in New York, and suddenly they flooded unemployment UI, and it was crashed because millions of people are applying for unemployment right now in the state of New York. So, you know, things will get more hotter and hotter around the globe, and maybe they keep saying China is going down, China is going down, and factories are back to normal again. That's yes, that's a lie. China always lies. Iran lies, and yet in United States, why there is not doing? They keep. I think they were saying we will test 200 million people very quickly, but what happened? They haven't tested people. If they test the people, the numbers are much, much, much more higher, and that's why they haven't done that. And yet, and many people can die around the globe. I mean, again, I'm still talking generally, and the doctor or physician say, well, it wasn't coronavirus, it was heart attack or something else. So we don't know. So people say no. So we don't get never the correct figures from anywhere in the world. Only South Korea so far.
Well, the average rate of death is 2%. In some cases, 4 or 5%, like in Italy, because they have a much older population. They like to greet each other with kisses and hugs, and they're very family oriented compared to the United States, where a lot of single moms raising family. So, but again, if everyone, not just half, but if every single person got coronavirus, 1, 2, 3% dying, 97, 98 of us still go on living. The question is, are we going to shut down the whole planet for the next 6 months? Because if I sit in my room and I don't work, I have no money, I can't buy food, I can't live 6 months without eating. Or you say a year, this thing will go on. So again, what's our viable answer? Do we live life or do we die and live bravely?
It's everybody's situations are different, but eventually, if you go out, if you don't have a mask, that's bad. If you don't have gloves, you go out, that's bad. Here, we have everything. We have masks, we have gloves, we go out and come back, take the gloves out. We wash, we disinfect ourselves as soon as we come, etc. With
you guys, we have another guest. 4, and they just told me it was 5 minutes to go, but we can talk 15. But John, hold on, let me pull that person up.
I think this is the same guy that is a bad guy. Don't bring him, but go ahead.
This is Jane from Blog Talk Radio. Who are we speaking with?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
We're talking about the COVID-19 virus.
Yeah, I just heard the guy say that I'm a bad guy, and I never called
every
into.
time he's on the air, we get a prank caller.
Yeah, but I never called into the show before, and my name is Dr. Alameen Muhammad.
There's no prelude. You're accepted on the show. What would you like to say?
Well, I would just like to say this right here is that, first of all, I want to say God bless everybody. And during this outbreak, I just hope that everybody stays safe. I'm not a bad guy. I never called into the show before, so therefore, no one can title me or describe me as being a bad guy.
Right, you're right.
And
we've had, here, let me explain something. We have 5 regular hosts. We have another host from another city near Thailand, which I'm not going to identify as country right now, but we've had bad experiences in the past with unknown callers, so don't take it personally. He probably shouldn't have said it, but it was his first instinct. So, Mike, will you apologize?
Yeah. Well, actually, Mike's been right almost 100% of the time. So, it's comedy relief. Usually at this time of the show, when someone calls and it's kind of an odd number, he's dead on. So it was
usually
just
Mike
yeah, he was just joking.
Right.
So let's just move forward since we have a legitimate caller. And we have 5 hosts, and we've been discussing the Black Plague in Europe in 1347 in Italy, and then the 1500s under Wittenberg, Germany. We were talking about a document from Martin Luther, and then we went on to discuss whether the virus is as severe as they say, but in some countries it is severe, like in Iran and Italy. And then we've been talking about other conditional circumstances. So go ahead with your thoughts.
my name is Alamin Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Dr. Alamin Muhammad. How are you? كيف حالك? Go ahead. Okay.
Isn't that statement you just made something about peace?
Let's say it again.
You know, the phrase said you just used it has something to do with peace.
No, I told him how are you in his language.
I've been to the mosque before, and I've heard that phrase.
Yes, it just means peace and love and peace to the prophet. I'm a whistleblower in the United States government. I served my time and I done my time. But what I would not do, I would not leave this planet. One thing that I would not do is leave this planet. How can I say that? They have to let us off. One thing that I would not do is leave a destructive path. I want to make things right. The COVID-19
is a man-made.
We created it. Okay. We created it, and the way that we created it, the technology that we have, we were able to splice, first we were able to splice genes. Mm-hmm. That's what we did. We were able to splice genes. Then we went from splicing genes to splicing sperm. We did that. We went from splicing that to splicing viruses. And then we spliced the COVID-19 from the SARS virus, the SARS virus, from the Middle East, the SARS virus. We did that. What we did not expect was that, and I just gave this lecture just yesterday, and also had an interview late last night. And we went from doing that to splicing the virus. But one thing we did not expect was that in itself, the virus that we spliced, we had no idea that it would heal itself. It healed itself by meaning in the scientific field that it would produce within itself a plasma around itself to shield within itself the proteins and the nuclei within itself. What we actually thought was that it was going to produce within itself. We thought it was going to produce a carbon copy, a duplicate, a clone of itself. But it didn't do that. It mutated right there in front of our eyes. It did that. It mutated in front of our eyes. And when it did that, it produced within itself a whole new virus. That's why today, right, the coronavirus has always been on this planet. We have different forms of the coronavirus. We have the swine flu, we have the MERS, we have the SARS, we have the cow mat disease, we have the Just the sickness in itself, the cold flu.
We have Lassa in Africa, brother. We have the dengue virus. I mean, a lot of other viruses. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Ebola virus, and all of that. All of those are coronaviruses. You see, and we can trace based upon the data that we collect from these viruses, the data that we collect, we know exactly where the origin is of these data, and from the data we know exactly where these viruses come from. For example, we know that it comes from a bat, or we know that it comes from a bird, or we know that it comes from the swine. Therefore, you had the swine flu, the bird flu, or the mad cow disease, or whatever. We know the origin. We don't know the origin of this particular virus. Have you guys heard anything about where the origin of it come from, except Wuhan?
I heard it came from in China, and it was like an animal but they wouldn't identify the animal, and they said it was of some kind of stature, and that's how it was discovered.
It could be an extraterrestrial virus, Dr. Allen. Can this be an extraterrestrial virus? ET virus?
I want to thank you guys, and I want to thank life for already having you guys to be awakened and aware of what's going on. Okay? This is what I need you to know and to understand. My name is, and I will say it again, someone you might never heard of. But the same way they killed my entourage and my partner and my colleague in China, I already know that it's going to be the same thing done to me. You see, my wife is prepared for that.
Can I interrupt a minute?
My family is prepared for that. But this is what I want to let you know, that this virus comes from the United States government into China. That's why your president is calling it the China virus. You see, it was incident to China. At the time in which you see for yourself that in the year of 2019, around October, November, China had a great uproar against its governmental officials that was elected by the United States to overthrow those officials. And then all of a sudden, in the end of December and January 2019, all of a sudden you have a virus that comes out to affect the whole area in China.
Well, they have a wet
Do you think
animal
that it
market
comes from
there,
China?
meaning it's a live animal market, and
No,
according
see,
to the
that's what I'm trying to say
scientific
to you, brother.
article, it says that
I
it
love
came
you
straight
so
from
much.
Wuhan.
I love you so much that your information that you get from your media and you get from your government, I love you so much because you want to repeat it to me right now what you have been taught. Like I just spoke to a colleague of mine, and I spoke to a colleague of mine.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it, but I'm not perfect.
Well,
You know what? I just spoke to a colleague of mine, and I told my colleague.
Your accent is from?
As I said earlier, that military probably helped design this and send it over to China. I said that at the beginning of the show, and I was given the conspiracy thing. And again, I'm not 100% sure because I'm not a scientist, nor am I military. But basically,
well, I am. I served in the military.
Well, I didn't say you were wrong on that because I went to the Tuskegee evidence, and this is very, very possible that the American government did do something. This mutating on its own is interesting because I know that viruses, you can get them to clone, but if they change mutations in the middle of growth, that's something that's fine.
I have a question. I have a question from you. Can you tell me what your accent is from?
That's why the Ebola virus is much more dangerous than the coronavirus. But I love you guys so much that even if it means to put my life on the line and my family's life on the line, I want you guys to know this right here, that the coronavirus, the COVID-19 specifically, because there has always been coronaviruses on this planet, but this particular one, the COVID-19, which means 2019, a virus that came out in 2019. Corona means crown. It gets into your lungs, and then it automatically, you know what I'm saying, gets into your lungs, cuts off the airways in your lungs, that ultimately cuts off the airways in your brain. Your brain is your crown. Man, you have a great crown that has been given by life to succeed and be successful in life. This virus, ultimately, right here, it cuts off your crown. This is a biological weapon. Second of all, I just do want to tell you this right here, is that we did this. We spliced the, and we knew this was going to happen.
Are you in Africa right now, sir? Are you in Africa or are you in North America?
Well, right now, I'm going to tell you, my secret location right now is in America. Okay.
North America. Okay.
North America. And I've been in the United States military. I fought in the United States military. I am a United States military veteran. Okay.
Thank you for your service.
What I do want to tell you this right here is that we did this. We spiked the virus and thought it was going to in itself. We thought that it was going to create within itself a carbon copy of itself. We thought it was going to create within itself a duplicate copy, a carbon copy, a clone within itself. But because we are in an age where everything is evolving and it's evolving faster than human beings, we had no idea that this virus in itself would evolve faster than we come to the knowledge of it. That's why we don't have no knowledge of it. It evolved faster than we could. Once we splice that nucleus, and once we splice that nucleus, and once the protein cells was open, it built around itself what they call a plasma shell that would get into your DNA and think for itself that when it gets into the DNA itself thinks that it belongs in the DNA, but it's an RNA strand. And once it got into the DNA as an RNA strand, it begins to duplicate within itself or whole another dimension. It's like a dimension. It's like a whole nother origin. It's like a whole nother plasma form that is unknown to human beings. That's why it cuts off your respiratory system. Then it goes into your brain and cuts off the brain. Because the end result is not to cut off the respiratory system. The beginning is the respiratory system. And it cuts off your respiratory system, but the end of it will cut off the energy and the oxygen to your brain.
Yeah, well, Mike, the kidneys are run by your brain. The regular functions of your kidneys.
Man, this thing doesn't affect your kidneys. It don't care about your kidneys. It don't care about your organs. It don't care about your pancreas. It don't care about your esophagus. It doesn't care about your intestines. It goes for your lungs to ultimately cut off the air from your brain, which is a biological weapon. The Georgia Guidestone.
Oh, but that's when I said it before. Go ahead, sir. That's fine.
We have to keep the population under a certain control.
500,000. Okay.
You see. And we was able to do that. But something happened. Mad scientists, these rich kids, man, began to play with something other than what they were supposed to play with. And then these kids, oh man, I thank God for life. And then these kids these rich kids, man, y'all send to school and give these scholarships for these rich kids, man. They begin to start playing with that CERN and begin to start playing with these things. And then they open up a portal. And then not only did they open in America today. Now here you are in Australia. Now here you are in Europe, Italy, been forced to take this vaccine. And you know what the vaccination is made of? It's made of the very same thing that you're trying to get rid of. You're trying to get rid of the coronavirus, COVID-19, but yet the vaccine that you were given contains the COVID-19.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Well, they usually do that with all vaccinations. It's a little bit of the disease that makes you immune to it.
But if the doctor is correct, and this COVID reproduces like it does, then that's going to counter the drug being ineffectual, and it will make it effective or more effective. If it's mutated, like he said.
Yes, and I would say this right here. You only got so long until you play like you God.
So is martial law is coming to the global martial law is coming, and it will be ready for the world government. That's what you're saying, sir?
We play God, and now God's gonna play us.
And that's why it doesn't fear. That's why a lot of minorities that say don't fear this, because nothing can be as bad as what we've they've gone through for the last 400 years in America. So, and then around the world. So there's nothing that really minorities are afraid of.
They're not even immune to this thing. This thing don't care what color you is. This thing don't care what culture you from. It doesn't care.
So that's what I said also earlier, sir. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate. Anybody can get you at any time. That's why quarantine right now is the best time.
Okay? We played like we was God, and we played God, and we fucked up. I'm a doctor, and I'm trying to tell you something. We did something, and we fucked up. Now the thing is this right here. Now your politicians don't care how many people die now, because they look at it as a pharmaceutical thing where they can make billions and millions and trillions of dollars off of selling these vaccines and selling these things to you, and they are only hoping to keep on a certain fruit of you alive. They don't need useless eaters. They don't need disintegrates and useless people on this planet.
John, do you agree with that?
Don't worry about it. Don't agree or not agree.
I think I'm just asking my co-host if he agrees with what you're saying.
Well, I think I've talked at length earlier. This is crowd control. It's an experiment. There'll be other things that are bred that are even more intense. And as we stated, the average age is 77. No one under 9 has died. It's not, even if you take percentages, it doesn't hit the 30 and under crowd. It hits the 40, especially the 60 to 70 or 80-year-old. It's just very lethal. But that group is ready to die anyway. Their resistance is very low. Now, the question I have, though, is for our caller is, what do you think as far as leadership? Do you think have you heard anything of Q? Do you think our president is connected to Q? Or do you think he's part of the deep state, part of the elite cabal? What are your feelings on that, as compared to, say, a Hillary Clinton, who would have been president if not Donald Trump?
See, did you guys not watch when the White House Speaker stepped down? When the White House Speaker stepped down and he cried in office. Did you not watch when Obama and his so-called wife cried? Did you not watch these things? Did you not watch when I cried? You see? Because we knew these things were going to happen. You see? Do you think I feel good about this? Do you think that I'm willing to put my family's life in danger or myself in danger? But one thing that I do want to say to the American people have been put to sleep for so long that even today, when something tragic as this is going on, you still sleep. You're asking
Well,
questions.
not all of us.
And the question
That's
that
why we're leaders in this
you're asking questions, and the question that you're asking is of a people that is still asleep. The question that you should be asking now is, what is the cure? And I want to say this with you before you cut me off line, and I don't want you to cut me off line because I want to give you the answer to the cure. I am Dr.
I do have an announcement.
The cure is in your blood. The cure is in your blood. Your blood is the cure. Y'all got to stop hating each other. Y'all got to stop hating each other, man. Y'all got to stop. Y'all got to get past this racism. Y'all got to get past this hate. Y'all got to get past all of this hatred that you have for one another and come to understand from each other that in order to get past this thing that you're faced with today, because you're being judged today, the answer is in your blood. Just the same way as the Ebola virus. You know how many people got cured from the Ebola virus? That all that they had to do, the people that survived the Ebola virus, all they had to do was give the blood of those who survived it and those who overcame it to those who was going through it, and from their blood it was able to cure those that was going through it. Your answer is in your blood. And we know this. But what we're going to do is this right here. We're going to give you a vaccine that has human. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, we're all here.
He was.
What we're going to do.
He was cut off right there.
What we're going to do. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Because
Yeah, we can hear you, but we only have
do.
5 minutes of the show left. I'm at work, and I'm on the work. My towers are down.
And then you can do what you're going to do. But what we're going to do is give you a vaccine that's going to have human diploid cells in it. Human diploid cells, which contains within itself cells, which contains in it a micro of blood cells of those who survive this thing, along with mercury, along with other. God, I love y'all so much that I just want to tell you the truth, and I don't have enough time. The vaccine that we use is going to contain human diploid cells of those who were able to overcome this thing. It's going to contain human diploid cells, meaning blood from that cell, but it's also going to contain within itself a cell mutating gene that is going to mutate your genes into the DNA, which is no longer going to make you fully human, but a hybrid on this planet where you can be controlled by the force that wants to control you. So
I actually
it's like
think that's
the
pretty
it's
accurate.
almost like in the scientific field and in the field which
I will include the end of his statement on my next broadcast. Thank you for joining us today. We so much appreciate it.